Who says you can't? You do. By Daniel Chidiac. Chapter 8 Habits. Throughout your life, you have applied the notions of pleasure and pain to every decision you have made. The experiences of pleasure and pain are fundamental to humans. They are the basis of change, or on the other hand, the reason we continue to have the same experiences. Our perceptions and our belief system control which we associate pleasure and pain with. We make drastic decisions that change our life forever as a result of massive shifts of emotion. Just think back to life-changing decisions you have made that altered the direction you were going. Were they the result of an emotional explosion? It's similar to shaking a can of soda and then opening it. The pressure causes it to explode and forces the liquid in a completely different direction. You have always created that pressure within yourself, and who's to say you can't build it again with things you deliberately want to change? The truth is you can sometimes. You just need a good shake. We can adapt pleasure or pain to anything we desire. It all depends on how we choose to look at it. People habitually do the same thing over and over again until they have created a neural net that is similar in strength to a post stuck firmly in the ground in order to make immediate change in your life. Regardless of whether it's a habit, fear, phobia, or your perception, you must look at the effect it's having on your life and the associations of pleasure and pain you have adapted. The following steps can be taken to break down and interrupt anything you consider a habit. For example, looking down when people talk to you, smoking cigarettes, overeating, or thinking negatively about a particular person. I used this to break habits such as smoking, not believing in myself, and most important, my drug abuse. It got me through fears that I had and other habits that were restricting me. I invite you to take these steps and change something in your life right now. First, know what you want. For example, if what you want is to quit smoking cigarettes, you might say to be healthy and fit, to be able to play at the park with my children or grandchildren one day, to discover my power, to know that I can achieve, to attend my child's wedding, to be really successful, to take control over my life. After you have written down what you ultimately want, you must pick something that is going to take the place of the old habit immediately. What do I want to do instead of smoking? What do I want to do instead of overeating? What do I want to do instead of stressing? Whatever your habit is, make sure you choose one alternative to put in its place. Instead of smoking, I want to eat more green. Second, know what's stopping you. You have probably been making the mistake of normalizing the situation. Normalize. You say, I have a bad relationship, as if you have nothing to do with creating the relationship. That is a detachment, so you may feel better in the short term. It is like you are separate from your experience and have no control over it. If the relationship is bad, it is out of my control and outside of my responsibility. Instead, you must denormalize. I am relating poorly. Take ownership. If it's something that I'm doing, I can do it differently. For the smoking example, the answer to know what's stopping you would be my choice to kill myself by smoking cigarette rather than just cigarettes. We must take ownership so that we are able to make lasting change. If I told you to sit there and hear that voice saying, you need a cigarette right now to really feel the sensation of picking it up and inhaling a puff, you would desire a cigarette, but the cigarette is nowhere inside. So was it your mind that gave you the feeling, or the cigarette itself. It could not have been the physical cigarette. It's how you think about the cigarette that gives you the sensation, not the cigarette itself. Someone else might see the same cigarette and want to vomit because they think differently about it, right? This applies to anything. All sensations and desires emerge from the mind. Once you take responsibility and acknowledge that it's actually all in your mind, you can make lasting change. It would be same if I told you to close your eyes and imagine something really hurtful that someone has said to you in the past. Take some time now and think hard about it. How did you feel in that moment? Did the same emotions of frustration, sadness, or anger churn within you? That person is not actually here saying it to you, are they? But you experience the same feelings through the vast neural net you have created in your brain. This is due to your thoughts. This realization allows you to acknowledge that you have options rather than thinking you are stuck to one. Our thoughts are our choice. Tapping into your mind. Once you are aware of what you want and what's stopping you, then it's time for a small but powerful task. Nothing is going to change unless you tap into your subconscious mind. A great way of doing this is to start building your new neural net by rehearsing the reaction that you really want when faced with an old habit. Constant repetition is what makes something a habit, so we should start breaking it right now. Close your eyes and envision the reaction you want as realistically as you possibly can when you are about to fall into an old habit. Feel the emotions of being faced with the old habit and create a perfect scenario of breaking it immediately with the new habit. This will bring forth new powerful emotions. Going back to the smoking example, you would visualize wanting a cigarette and then saying no. You would imagine exactly how you would feel by doing that and make it as real in your mind as you possibly can. Would you feel proud, strong, or in control? What would your facial reaction be? Would you be smiling after you have said no? Do this around 25 times, which only takes around 5 to 10 minutes. This is a great start because it allows you to see and create the new option that is just as real as your previous automated response of giving in. In order to reach any desired level in our life, we must mimic how we would act if we were already there. If you want to be mentally strong, you must practice being mentally strong. Third, standard and value association. What do you stand for? What do you teach others? What do you pride yourself on? As you have probably already noticed throughout the book, I am extremely big on being truthful to yourself and enforcing it any way you can. We all have certain standards and values that we attempt to live by on a daily basis. We so often contradict our core beliefs due to the habits that we have put in place. Every time we do it, we seem to get weaker because we break down our emotional state. The cause of this is sometimes only that we avoid reasoning with ourselves. We will refuse to look at the truth because it seems too painful to bear. Facing those core values and standards is our ticket to an empowering life. This is the initial step in getting leverage. Go back to your wants list and analyze it properly. It seems that the reason you wrote down all those wonderful things is they reflect who you really are as a person, rather than what you have conditioned yourself to be. Questioning is the greatest tool one can use to shift a certain mindset and begin breaking an old pattern immediately.